Hello and welcome to another edition of Buy or Sell, the first one for 2025. I'm your host, Adam Keily, host of Comedian versus Economist podcast through Equity Mates, which you might recognize. And if you haven't, check it out. But also widely regarded as one of the simplest minds in finance. But luckily for us, I'm joined by an expert to educate me and hopefully you on how they're thinking about stocks and the stocks they're thinking about. This, of course, isn't a deep dive. We're going to smash through as many stocks as we can in the time that we've got. And you can, of course, find out more about each stock on the Equity Mates website. But let's get stuck in. Today, I am excited to welcome back Adam Dawes, Senior Investment Advisor at Shaw and Partners. Welcome back, Dawsey.
Thank you so much, Adam. It's great to be here. And first show for 2025, I'm honoured.
I reckon you might have even done the first show of the Buy or Sell series ever, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. There we go. Yeah, absolutely.
Following on from the smash success of our stage performance at FinFest.
When are we going to be back? I want to know. When are we going to be back?
I am keen. Yeah. Now, new for 2025, I'm not drinking alcohol anymore, so I won't be offering you a drink. Instead, I want to know what your investing theme song would be, Dawsey. What's the song that best encapsulates your approach to investing?
Well, look, it's a two-part song.
Oh, yeah.
And the first part of the song is Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin because,
Nice.
everybody wants to be moving towards that stairway to utopia.
And everyone can play it. It's the only song that everybody can play.
that and Deep Purple as well. So, both of those Smoke on the Water. That's the first part, Stairway to Heaven. But with an orange man in the White House, it's the final countdown.
The final count. That sounds ominous. That doesn't sound like you're optimistic about where we're headed.
Yeah, well, listen to the lyrics and then come back to me.
Okay, all right, very good. Now, I did mention that you've been on the show a couple of times before. We're not going to go over all of your picks. If you want to see those, you can see those on the Buy or Sell tracker on the Equity Mates website. But I did want to just ask you about, let's just say a friend of mine got excited and bought some Arrow Minerals stock after we talked about it. And you did mention it was a very speculative buy.
Yes.
This friend of mine would really like to know what's happening with Arrow Minerals. Is there any update?
Yes, look, very speculative stock. It's a mining stock. It's an iron ore stock in Simandou. They've changed a little bit of the way they're doing their business as far as they're moving into bauxite, which is an aluminium component. They have done also a very large share consolidation, which is exactly what we wanted to happen at the end of last year as well. So it was 0.1%, and now it's sort of sitting at around sort of 3 cents as such. There's been a big consolidation there. Look, the market's still waking up to this one. I'm still in a losing position. A lot of my friends are in a losing position on this one as well. So at the pub on a Saturday afternoon doesn't get any better. But what I do say to them, and I'll say to everybody else, this is a 2026 story. It's not a 25 story. I think iron ore is going to continue and bauxite is going to do well also. So just be a little bit cautious on it at the moment. But hold on. And once the market starts to wake up, I think it should be okay.
All right. I will let my friend know that's the case. Very good. All right, let's kick off with all your stocks for this time round. And we're going to start with Insignia Financial Limited, ASX IFL, currently trading at $4.60. Insignia, formerly IOOF, which of course stood for the Independent Order of Odd Fellows. Not sure I'm giving my money to them, to be honest. But lots of people want to buy Insignia now, the company that is, not the shares. Where are we at with Insignia?
Yeah, so I thought I'd just start the show off with, what to do if you do hold something that's in a takeover situation. And I think that's really, really important is to, do you buy more? Do you sell? What do you do? Do you hold? Now, Insignia has been quite lucky, or shareholders in Insignia have been quite lucky due to the fact that there's about 3 parties now bidding for this company. And so what generally happens is when the first one comes through, you're sort of happy and holding, then it will continue. And then if you've got 2 or 3 people bidding, like bidding on a house on an auction, you're always going to get this competition and then the price is going to rise. Yeah. So for me, you would hold it for a further takeover offer. But a lot of the time when we see these takeovers, it would be really wise to just sell a little bit. Sometimes those takeovers don't actually happen and then they don't go through. Like something like a Ramsay Healthcare at $88 and now it's sub $40, right? So it's wise to sort of look to sell some, but hold some as well so that you can take advantage of if there's this bidding war. And that's exactly what's happening with IFL at the moment.
Right. Okay. So let's call it a hold and a sell.
Yeah,
We
so
can do
it's
that.
just taking a little bit of risk off the table. I think is probably the best thing to be looking at.
Yeah, very good. All right. Next up, we're going to look at Pilbara Minerals Limited, ASX PLS, currently trading at $2.33, down 18% in the past 6 months. Have we reached rock bottom? The rock, of course, being where the lithium is in this case.
I like that a lot. Yeah, it's certainly. I think overall, I hope we've hit the bottom. Again, lithium is going to be a 2026 story. So if you don't hold any PLS, it probably would be a good time to look to sort of dip your toe into the water, but don't put the kitchen sink in at the moment. The other side of it is that what you've got to do is you've got to look at how the shorters, and we've talked about PLS and the shorters before, but the shorters have now moved away from this stock. So it's stopped the overhang, and it should allow the stock to breathe. But what we are seeing is that a lot of companies are taking supply out of the market, and that's exactly what you want when you've got this oversupply situation, that we want that to happen. So I think, look, PLS is a very good business. It's probably one of the better lithium stories, but I just think, again, this is going to be a 2026 story. Once the supply has now come back, the demand is still there. There's no doubt about that, but there's the supply issue. And so we've just got to be a little bit careful. But I know a lot of my clients and a lot of people own PLS, and they're sort of wondering what to do. I'd be buying a little bit more down here to lower your average price, with a view that it's going to take a little bit longer for that to come through. So very good business, good cash, all of those kinds of things. But just you got to hold the course.
Because I think there's a chance, like, people feel like there was just a lot of hype around lithium. Everyone got excited and bought up lithium companies, and they all did really well. And now that sheen's come off it a bit. But you're saying there's a bit more to PLS than that.
Well, it's the demand versus supply.
Yeah,
and the demand is definitely there. It's the supply that needs to, be curtailed, and then it should move. So it's just going to take a little bit longer.
All right, very good. Next, we're going to look at BWP Trust, ASX BWP, currently trading at $3.50. BWP, of course, the landlord for Bunnings. Bunnings would be a pretty good tenant, wouldn't they? They'd be getting their bond back if they ever moved out.
Absolutely. They would definitely get their rental bond back, that's for sure. Look, this one actually for me is a sell. So I don't know how many, of your listeners potentially would have REITs or REITs is a real estate investment trust, or any of these kinds of things, because they're a little bit boring. But the growth of Bunnings isn't as much as what it was 2 years ago, 5 years ago. Now you see a Bunnings not on every corner, but they are around, and they're certainly increasing in numbers. So this one just doesn't have any further upside. Now you buy REITs for interest rates and interest rate falls. So we're in that space now, but there's so many other ones that are out there that look great. Now Goodman Group is one of those ones that has been fantastic for my clients. And we did a deep dive into Bunnings, the BWP Real Estate Trust, and I just think there's not a lot of growth left in it, and I'll be slapping a sell on that one.
Okay, there's only so many Bunnings you need within 2 minutes of your house, isn't there?
and it's the most expensive hardware store in the world.
Is it?
Yep, absolutely. We get a $3 or probably now a $6 sausage.
To
be honest. And we feel good when we're eating it going up into the Bunnings or coming home. But the margins, it is the most expensive hardware store in the world.
Right. Even though they'll beat any competitor's price by 10%.
Well, you see that they do that, but they only carry their brands.
Yeah. So you can't find that thing anywhere else.
That's exactly right.
We're on to you, Bunnings. All right, next up, we're looking at Amcor, ASX AMC, currently trading at $16.04. A package deal, Amcor.
Yeah, very much a good package deal, and this is a buy. Again, I'm trying to give some boring stocks to start with, and then we're
happy to make boring money, Adam. We're absolutely happy to make boring money.
A lot of my portfolios are very, very boring, but they make good money. So Amcor, one of the biggest packaging businesses in the world, they do soft plastics, rigid plastics, packaging, and all those kinds of things in most of the growth countries around the world. They did sell off their Australian New Zealand arm to Aurora, ORA, but Amcor is one of those businesses that is doing very well. It's now making a very, very large acquisition in the US, and the name escapes me at the moment. But once that is bedded down, it is going to be EPS accretive. EPS meaning earnings per share, which means that shares should move higher on the back of that integration of this very, very large packaging business in the US. It does make them a world leader with packaging all around. I mean, I think, you'd be okay to sit in this one. It is a good defensive stock. Defensive meaning that if markets fall, it will fall, but it won't fall as hard as some of the other ones. And it is a good defensive stock. So Amcor is a staple in my client's portfolio. So it's definitely.
So when we talk packaging, is this just like across the board packaging? It's not like sort of Amazon packaging parcels. It's more the manufacturers packaging goods to sell to distributors.
Yeah. So you would have touched an Amcor product today via your Weet-Bix packet. Yep. Maybe not because you're not hungover, but the Panadol packets, they are also the Mount Franklin water bottles. Yep. You know how Mount Franklin water bottles used to be really, really hard, and now they're really, really soft.
Oh yeah.
Amcor has done a lot of R&D, research and development.
Yeah.
What they do is instead of packaging up these bottles and then trying to take them to Mount Franklin, they crush them. And then from there, Mount Franklin puts air into them and it expands them out, and they fill them with water. All of this kind of stuff is what they're doing. So yes, you would have touched an Amcor product today, and it's a very, very good business.
Love it. Amcor's a buy. All right, next we got Echo IQ Limited, ASX EIQ, currently trading at 25 cents. I heart Echo IQ, or should I say AI heart Echo IQ?
There you go. Yes.
I work hard for this, Dawes.
You do, mate. You did some research. I like that. I like
it. Give us the rundown on Echo IQ.
All right. So this is, remember we said AMD was a speculative stock. This is one of my speculative stocks in this in this show. And we've buyer beware. Everybody seek professional advice before you make any investment decisions. This is not something for the faint of heart. But what it is that it is... The whole AI movement has really started to take effect going forward. And for that, AI and healthcare are two things that should marry very, very well together, okay? And the whole idea of artificial intelligence is to make our life easier, but also in healthcare is to take those images and make it better. So Echo, EIQ, is all about heart disease, and when you go to a heart specialist, they take lots of photos, they put some dye through you, and they watch the blood flow, and they actually look at the heart. Then what they do is they send it off to a specialist who looks at it again. Now that specialist is looking at 10,000 images a day, and there's a massive database in Australia. The world, it is the leader in images for heart side of things.
Right.
The images that the hearts come through, they've given EIQ the ability for AI to look at every single image inside of that library. Wow. And what that AI does is now, instead of it going to the specialist, it still goes to the specialist, but it would take 2 to 3 weeks to come back. And if you've got a heart issue, 2 to 3 weeks probably could be a long time. Yeah. But what happens is now within an hour to 2 hours, with the help of AI, it looks at all of those images and can basically diagnose if you've got a heart disease. And then if you pair that with the clinical specialist, it's up to a 94% success rate going forward. Okay? So AI using the images to go, yes, there's a problem. Specialist going in there saying, yes, there's a problem. Getting back within a couple of hours to the patient and saying, okay, we need to do something really, really quickly. And so this is a very small company that has now moved to the US and is now has got FDA approval for one of their heart images. The next one is going to be heart failure, but the first one is like a blockage in the heart.
Right. Yep.
And they're using that and they're rolling that out through all of the hospitals in the US. They've got they get a code which they can get a reimbursement from insurance. And that code has now been produced, and so they are now starting to produce revenue on the back of these heart echo images.
Yeah, wow, incredible.
Yeah, it's a really interesting business. It's got a good story. The management are good.
Yep.
It's 25 cents. Be careful, everybody. Right? Be careful. But there is another FDA approval coming.
Yep.
Right? There's another FDA approval coming for heart failure. Should be March, April this year. And that's going to be where the stock could probably have another kick up.
And so have they sort of patented the process or the AI to read the images, or like is there a danger that it's just that they've got the license to access the images? Like is that the value, or is the value in the technology to read the images?
The value is the technology. There's no patent, but if anybody wanted to try and start where they are, they'd be 2 years behind.
Yeah, sure.
And because Australia has the largest database of heart images in the world, AI is always learning, and it's using those images, and there's nobody else that can use those images as well. So it's a really interesting business. What we need to see is more. One, we need the FDA approval, but we also need to see revenue coming in from the hospitals, and that's the chicken and the egg. You know, they give the technology so that they can use it, but we need to get that to come back. So, all right. I think I'm over my 2 minutes on that one.
All right. All good. Echo IQ is a buy. Look, we're going to take a break here. Hey, while we do, if you'd like a professional to review your investment portfolio, Adam here now offers personalised portfolio health checks to all Equity Mates listeners. You'll get expert guidance tailored to your goals and risk profile, including a limited scope tailored statement of advice for $750. So whether you want a one-off health check or someone to handle your investments entirely, head to the link in the show notes or visit equitymates.com/advice to get in touch with Adam. We'll be right back with more of Adam's picks and more buy or sell right after this. Welcome back. You're listening to Buy or Sell. My expert today is Adam Dawes, Senior Investment Advisor at Shaw and Partners. We've got another 5 stocks to get through, so let's get stuck in. We are looking first at Xero Limited, ASX XRO, currently trading at $184.90, up 44% in the last 6 months. I had to open another Xero account just to calculate my gains, Dawsey.
No wonder you are a comedian. I mean, some of these one-liners, mate, I don't know where you get them from, but they're good. I'm going to have to write them down. I have to watch the show again.
That's pretty impressive, though. So are we buying or selling Xero?
We are. We're buying this one, even at $180.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you look at that chart, Xero has done a fantastic job of moving forward. They are moving into the US, which is where they're probably going to get their next uplift in growth. But this is a business that has earnings accretive. So in other words, earnings. And if you look so profit, if you look out, 2 to 3 years, this is still going to be earning far more than what it is now and will continue. I use it in my business. Once you're inside the network, it's really hard to extract yourself out of that network. Sticky. And that's why I really like Xero.
Yep. Awesome. All right, let's crack on. Going to look at JB Hi-Fi Limited, ASX JBH, currently $101.98. They recently launched their marketplace to compete with everyone else who's launching a marketplace. Dawsey, how many marketplaces do we actually need in the world?
Well, you probably don't need that many, but certainly JB Hi-Fi at $100.
Yeah.
For everybody playing at home, this used to be Brash's, and it listed at $2.50.
Oh, wow.
At $100, like, I don't know. At $80, I started selling some for clients. We moved in at around $30 and $50, and we started selling some at $80, thinking that we were heroes.
Yeah.
But it continues to move higher. I think at $100, you'd definitely be taking some off the table. So this is a partial sell. Yep. I think that it just, if you look at Harvey Norman's at $5. Like it is just absolutely screaming past that. I think this one is a partial sell. I think you still need to hold some consumer discretionary stocks, and this is one of the best. Lavisa is another one of those best consumer discretionary stocks. But JB Hi-Fi is going to be, let's take some profit over $100.
Yeah.
If we have a fall in the market, we get a 15% correction, 20% correction. That means potentially JB Hi-Fi is back to $80. And that's where you could probably start to step in again. So I'd just be a little bit cautious up here. If anybody holds some, I'd be just taking some profits around this $100 level.
Nice. All right, JB Hi-Fi, we'll mark that one as a sell.
Yeah.
Next, we've got Resmed, ASX RMD, currently $38.89. Back from the brink of hyped oblivion when Ozempic launched. Dawsey, where are we at with Resmed now? Buy or sell?
Well, we took a major advantage of this one at $21, $22. We bought so much. I've got clients in from $7 but we bought more at $21 because we could see that Ozempic side of things, and it's still plaguing Resmed. It still does plague Resmed, but Fisher and Paykel's their major competitor. They're having some problems with their masks. For anybody who doesn't know, Resmed is a sleep apnea business. So big Darth Vader mask that goes over your face, and it's not very sexy for your wife or partner, but you can still breathe at night. So I think look, this one is a buy. We will continue to keep going on this one. It is a fantastic story. They're doing very, very well in the US. The other side of it is that Fisher and Paykel makes 60% of its products in Mexico. Right. Now, again, we've got the Orange Man in the White House. Resmed makes 100% of its products in the US. Okay. Right. So, hands down, your competitor's going to flail. Resmed is going to continue to do well. It's a buy for me.
It's a buy. All right. And there's always the danger that Fisher and Paykel just focus too much on washer-dryer combos and not enough on sleep masks.
Yes, you're right. Yes.
Next up, Evolution Mining, ASX EVN, currently $5.95, up 53% in the past 6 months. So shareholders are very happy, I imagine, except those shareholders, of course, involved in the class action against Evolution Mining.
Yeah, class actions are part of being a listed company. I think some days there's like that. So I think it sort of goes out in the wash. Look, everybody should have about a 5% weighting of gold in their portfolio. Okay, so that's sort of a hands down. You can either buy the ETF, GOLD, right? There's been lots of extra little tips in this one, but GOLD is the ETF, and that's just the commodity. Or if we're going to look at a gold stock, Evolution is one of those ones where we really, really like it. Right. The reason why we're going to, and I think the gold is going to go over $3,000 an ounce US in the next 6 months, is because you've got all these issues where these he's signing off on hundreds of these things, and there's so much uneasiness in the world, and especially in investing, there's so much uneasiness in the world that you need to have gold, because people will continue to flight to safety when they don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, in 10, and it's all about the detail. There's lots of sweeping statements, but we really don't know what's going on. And every day there's something new for us to worry about. So I think 5% of your portfolio should be in gold. Evolution is the best company, or buy the ETF, GOLD. So Evolution.
Are they different? Are they different sort of approaches to the same problem? Like, so is buying the miner, does that carry different risk to buying the commodity?
Definitely. Yeah. The added risk is just the commodity GOLD. You don't have to worry about management. Right. You don't have to worry about, did they get enough out of the ground? And you're overlaying more risk by buying Evolution, because you're putting a company and you're putting humans in front of it. Yeah. Where you buy the commodity, you're just buying the commodity. Yeah. Okay. So that's
the trade-off being there's potentially more upside with the miner. Is that what we're thinking? Or I guess I'm thinking, why wouldn't we just buy GOLD? Why would we take the risk with the miner?
Absolutely. I agree. Yeah. First choice is GOLD. But if you're looking for a company, Newmont is number one. Evolution is number two. Northern Star is number three. Evolution is probably the better of those three to sort of continue to grow. So, yeah.
All right. Very good. Evolution Mining is a buy. All right. This is it. The last call. Aristocrat Leisure, ASX ALL, currently trading at $74.81. Aristocrat just completed a nearly $2 billion share buyback program. The really shrewd thing about it, Dawesy, was that they paid for most of it using bonus bets. So that was smart on their part.
Very smart. And that dragon link where it comes rolling up. That paid for it as well. So look, it's another JB Hi-Fi. If you have a look at that chart, it's just outstanding how well this is done. Yeah. We at $50 sold a fair bit of Aristocrat to move into Light and Wonder, which is its major competitor.
Oh yeah.
But we've been short-changed on Light and Wonder, and Aristocrat has continued to move higher. Right. I think this is a buy, but if you do hold some, I'd probably just take a little bit of profit. I don't know. It's just had a cracker of a year, and it's had a cracker of 3 years. Yeah. So I just don't know, $70, $80. It can definitely go to 100 again. But I think this one, you just take a little bit off the top. it's not a full sell. So I'm going to say it's a soft sell, but I just wouldn't be topping up here at the moment. And I just think that, again, if we get a correction, if this market does start to pull back a little bit, that's when you go out. I've got a shopping list of a lot of stocks. Maybe this can be another show for us, but I've got a shopping list of stocks. If the market pulls back by 20%, what are we going to buy? And Aristocrat is definitely in that space that we would definitely pick some up if the market does fall. So it's a soft sell.
Soft sell. That's a nice tie back to our initial band conversation, isn't it? In music, it wasn't soft sell a 80s band?
Yes, absolutely. You're very right. Yes.
What a nice place to finish. That's it. Adam Dawes, thank you so much for joining me on Buy or Sell. It's always a pleasure to have you on. And don't forget, as I mentioned before, if you'd like a professional review of your investment portfolio, Adam does offer personalised portfolio health checks to all our Equity Mates listeners. So head over to equitymates.com/advice to get in touch with Adam if you'd like to take advantage of that. And of course, you can continue the journey on the Equity Mates website. There's plenty of resources there. You'll find the buy or sell tracker for this show, along with the Find a Company page, where you can find more information about all of the stocks we've talked about today. That's it. You will find me, if you're looking for me, on Comedian versus Economist. We are now back for 2025, so make sure you jump over to that podcast and like and subscribe and do all the things. But that's it. Thank you for joining us. I hope you'll join me next time when we do more buy or sell. Until then, it is bye for now.
I will say this about investing. Everything you do learn is cumulative. What I learned at 20 is useful. Equity.